The next day at the group meeting, I found out the other person was my advisor's son. I hid outside the door, too scared to go in. I heard him impatiently telling my advisor, I don't like anyone younger than me. I don't like people who study anatomy and deal with dead bodies all day. Like someone after just one meeting. Ha! Unless I got my head stuck in a door. My senior urged me to go in, so I had to push the door open. The next second, his handsome face turned red. He unconsciously covered the hickey I left on his neck. At dinner, he kept putting food in my bowl. My junior doesn't need more. He's really full. You should eat more. Your waist is still too thin, and your butt needs more meat. His hot tongue wrapped around my earlobe, his large hands gripping my waist. With every thrust, he had to pat my butt. Too thin. I bit hard into the man's shoulder, but he got even more excited. Thin is good. I like it. That night, after the last drink, his eyes were red as he grabbed my hand and wouldn't let go. Really won't try being with me. I pulled my hand away, leaving him with a cool silhouette. As I turned the corner, I immediately held my waist, walking with a limp. Damn, what kind of joke is a try it? That big, try it and I'd be dead. Thinking of his satisfied expression made me shudder. The next day at the group meeting, my legs were still shaking. Just about to push the door open, I saw a 6-foot, tall gorgeous guy sitting next to my advisor. The guy's face looked familiar. Shit, what's Zhou Yizhen doing here? I checked the room number again. I was in the right place. My mind was going through earthquakes and 2 tsunamis when I heard my advisor suddenly speak earnestly. Yijia. This student of mine is very well behaved, looks like a little star, great body too. He also likes boys. You'll definitely fall for him once you meet. Zhou Yizhen was sitting with his legs crossed, sounding arrogant, completely different from yesterday's pitiful look. I don't like anyone younger than me, and I don't like you people who study anatomy, dealing with dead bodies all day, like someone after just one meeting. Ha! Unless I got my head stuck in a door. What are you sneaking around for? I was pressed against the door eavesdropping, and got startled by someone behind me. I touched my pounding heart. Awkwardly greeted my senior. My senior opened the door, and I hid behind him, trying to use his tall frame to hide me. Zhou Yizhen really didn't see me. He frowned and glanced at my senior, suspiciously, questioning my advisor. This guy looks like a little star. Definitely fall for him after one meeting. Old Zhou, do you even know my preferences? My senior looked confused. The advisor told him to stay calm, quietly adjusted his glasses. Xiao Zhang, why are you hiding back there? Hearing this, I had to straighten up, completely exposed to Zhou Yizhen's view. I saw his previously arrogant eyebrows immediately shoot up, pupils dilating. He stopped crossing his legs and sat properly, like a big dog wagging its tail, staring at me with wet eyes. Dad, this is your student. Quick, introduce him to everyone. My advisor seemed to know his son's temperament well, smiling without changing expression. Let me introduce you two to each other. You can call each other senior and junior, haha. My advisor laughed happily, his eyes curved like a fox. After all the seniors arrived, my advisor told everyone to start eating. He looked at where I was sitting and said disapprovingly, Xiaozhan, why sit so far away? Come sit next to your senior. I moved over under everyone's gaze. At dinner, Zhou Yizhen kept sneaking glances at me and constantly putting food in my bowl. My plate was practically a small mountain. When he tried to put another chicken leg in my bowl, I gritted my teeth and politely declined. Senior, thank you, but I'm really full. He tilted his head and said sheepishly, eat a little more. Your waist is still too thin. Your butt doesn't have much meat either. That caused quite a stir. Talk about dropping a bombshell. All the seniors stopped their chopsticks and stared at us. Under everyone's confused looks, I made an excuse about having class and ended the dinner early, fleeing the private room in panic. My only connection with Zhou Yizhen started from a post I made on an app a month ago. My straight childhood friend I crushed on for 4 years announced his relationship on social media. I got blackout drunk and posted under my friend's influence. Zhou Yizhen quickly found me. After we exchanged contact info, we hit it off, and were both very satisfied with each other's looks and bodies. Naturally arranged to meet last weekend for some wonderful, pleasurable physical communication, though it felt really good. I still couldn't get over my childhood friend. I regretted it that night when I got home. Cried all night in the bathroom. Sure, he's more handsome than my childhood friend. Sure, he has a better body than my childhood friend. Sure, he's bigger than my childhood friend. But my white moonlight, my cinnabar mole. I deleted Zhou Yizhen's contact info, thinking we'd never cross paths again. Who knew he'd turn out to be my advisor's dear son? No wonder my advisor was so nice to me, asking if I wanted mooncakes for Mid-Autumn Festival, if I was interested in projects. I thought it was because he pitied my poor living situation. Turns out he was picking a daughter-in-law for himself. Didn't eat enough at dinner. Now I'm crying while eating bread. Thinking of the chicken leg Zhou Yizhen gave me, I swallowed hard. If I'd known, I would have finished eating before running. Zhou Yizhen is the project leader at university. Yesterday's banquet was originally my advisor's welcome party for him. Hearing my senior's introduction, I finally learned how incredible this guy is. Went abroad at 10 to study algorithms with foreign experts. Applied for patents right after returning at 15. Has already published over 10 top papers with my advisor. I quietly shut my mouth. Damn, he really has the skills. And I have to face this former hookup in front of his dad. God, I might as well just drop out. But thinking of my huge debt and creditors chasing me with knives, I chose to sit back down at my desk. Pride isn't as important as paying off debt. Luckily, Zhou Yishen was busy, spending every day in his private office discussing data with Xinyo. We only ran into each other once a week. That day I was eating lunch at my desk. He spotted me right away. The cool guy immediately pushed through the crowd. Appeared right in front of me. His clothes slightly dirty, some sweat on his temples. He put the fish from his plate into my bowl. Why did you only order vegetables? You need to eat more meat to get stronger. He even flexed his bicep. So childish. Completely different from how he was in bed. Noticing I was ignoring him, Zhou Yishen poked my hand with his fingertip. Why won't you talk to me? I've been too busy the past few days. Every time I wanted to find you, you weren't at your desk. I was watching him every day. The moment he moved, I dashed to the lab. How could he possibly find me? Silly boy. I quickly finished my rice. Gave him an awkward smile, grabbed my utensils and walked away. Didn't notice Zhou Yishen's intense gaze behind me. The new group announcement stated, every student in the group needs to add the project leader on WeChat. I procrastinated for several days. My advisor finally called me out in the group chat to add him quickly. What? After sending the request, he immediately accepted. Looking closely, the WeChat interface actually still showed his previous messages. You enjoyed it too, didn't you? Well, I'm gonna find other boys. Don't want you anymore. The messages ended there. I didn't expect there'd be such rich content after I deleted him. Poor guy. If I hadn't loved my childhood friend for 4 years, if he wasn't my advisor's son, maybe I could accept him. Too bad. Zhou Yishen's message came at 11 p.m. Figured he just got off work. Don't ignore me. If we can't be hookups, we can still be friends, right? We'd have to deal with each other for a whole semester. Couldn't keep dragging this out. I decided to be direct with him. I'm not ignoring you, but others can't know about our past relationship. From now on, we'll pretend we don't know each other in the group and start fresh as friends, okay? He was quiet for a long time, just when I thought he wouldn't reply. My phone buzzed. He replied with one word, okay. The next day at my desk, found hot breakfast on everyone's desk. Even my favorite beef buns and cheese bacon. After a moment, I asked my neighboring senior if our advisor had a change of heart. My senior He-Ching always helped me with work. She wagged her finger. Said research can't be done on an empty stomach. Zhou Yishen. Can't blame me for overthinking. When we chatted before, I mentioned loving buns and bacon. He even ordered takeout for me. Ignoring my weird feelings, I devoured the breakfast. Can't fight with anyone except your stomach. Morning was our group's turn to report project progress. My senior especially did her makeup and hair in the bathroom, said dreamily. Must leave the perfect woman impression on the handsome Zhou. Too bad, he likes guys. I felt sorry for my senior. Sure enough, while my senior was giving her vivid report, Zhou Yishen interrupted her with a blank expression. What exactly does this electronic information plus imaging method refer to? My senior froze and looked to me for help. I had to step forward reluctantly. Senior, this part is my responsibility. Zhou Yishen spun his electronic pen with one hand, rubbing his chin with the other. Then you explain. You'll handle all the reports from now on. During my explanation, Zhou Yishen's deadpan face slowly showed a hint of smile. He was looking at me, first at my waist. He'd said it was too thin, could wrap his hands around it, then staring at my Adam's apple, licking it like a snake's tongue. Finally finished, Zhou Yishen pretended to ask a few questions. Zhangxing, right? Very detailed explanation. You'll handle all your group's progress reports from now on. Once we left the office, my senior looked at me like she wanted to kill me. She hugged her carefully prepared materials and said with a fake smile, how come some people get interrupted when they speak but others get praised? I don't know either. I was sweating bullets too. Confess, did you know him before? My senior's question made me stiffen. I quickly denied it. No, how's that possible? After barely getting through that, my senior said sadly, does he have a girlfriend? I think I saw a hickey on his neck at the last dinner. I laughed it off without responding. Looks like he's working hard, but actually he's been gone for a while. At 18 p.m., Zhou Yishan's message arrived right on time. Did I act convincing today? And you need to eat breakfast from now on. I'm ordering for the whole team. Don't feel bad about it. How does he know I didn't eat this morning? My heart feels strangely tight. Zhou Yishan immediately replied, the research budget won't spend itself. I'm tossing and turning with my phone in the dorm. Suddenly, I feel like Zhou Yishan reminds me of someone. My childhood friend I had a crush on for 4 years. It's totally normal. Back then, Dad was in prison for gambling and Mom died from illness. We didn't even have money for the funeral. Xu Shen was always there for me. He contacted the funeral home and got me time off from school. When I curled up under the covers refusing to come out, he patted my back and comforted me. He said, Shenqi, we have to be stronger. Auntie would definitely want you to get into a good college and live a happy life. I threw myself into his arms and sobbed. Xu Shen wiped away my tears, stayed at my place, and cooked 3 meals a day for me. After I recovered, he gave me rides to school on his bike. When classmates gossiped, Xu Shen would teach them a lesson when I wasn't around. The rumors gradually died down. He was like the sun, driving away all the darkness from that time. Without him, I wouldn't even know if I could survive. Even though I really liked him, I knew Xu Shen was straight. After he announced his relationship, I stopped reaching out. I left my son behind. After realizing Zhou Yishan was like Xu Shen, I couldn't talk to him as coldly as before. Even when he asked me to lunch, with that hopeful puppy dog expression, I couldn't bring myself to refuse. Our relationship has been developing rapidly lately. He'd even slapped my butt when I was getting hot water, when no one was looking, leaving me red-faced and flustered alone in the break room. Sometimes he'd text me directly, telling me to come to his office. So, I dragged my feet under my senior's knowing look. As soon as I walked in, he'd lock the door and pin me against the wall. He buried his face in my neck. His tongue found my Adam's apple. My knees went weak on the spot. Even though we'd only done it once, that one time lasted from day until night. Zhou Yishan already knew every sensitive spot on my body. I put my hands up, trying to push him away. Zhou Yishan's voice was husky with desire. Baby, I missed you so much. Tonight we are. The words of refusal stuck in my throat. Then my whole mouth was blocked by his hot tongue. By evening, all the seniors had left. I stayed at my workstation pretending to process data, feeling anxious. At 6, Zhou Yishan pulled me into his BMW, straight to a hotel. This time was even more intense than last time. Afterwards, he took me to a BBQ place. His eyes practically glued to me, serving me food while looking at me with love. I'd scoot over a bit. He'd scoot over too. I couldn't take it anymore. Give me some space here. He scratched his head. Okay, baby. Then moved over about 2 centimeters. I can't stand it. Don't call me that. He put grilled chicken in my bowl. Chen. Eat more. Haven't you been eating properly? I could feel your spine when I touched your back earlier. I blushed and ignored him. When we left the BBQ place, it started drizzling. Zhou Yishan insisted on walking me back to the dorm. As soon as we got there, I hurriedly said goodbye. After going upstairs, I opened the window and looked down. Zhou Yishan was still standing there. Only after he saw my dorm light turn on did he get back in his car and drive away. The rain got heavier outside, just like my racing heart. Lying in bed, my heart was still pounding. Before I could sort out my thoughts, my roommate knocked on my bed frame. With a cold face, he impatiently told me, the counselor wants us to tell you. You've missed too many classes. If you don't start attending, you'll fail. I often skip classes to work in the lab for money. Just as I was about to thank him, my roommate glared at me with disgust. And that aunt of yours came by our dorm again, today. We told her you weren't here, but she wouldn't listen, yelling at the top of her lungs in our room. I'm telling you, Zhang Xin, can you deal with your family drama before going to that stupid lab? My face turned red with shame. I kept apologizing to him. My roommate completely ignored me, put on headphones, and started typing. I crawled under the covers and clenched my fists. Aunt must be here for money. When debt collectors couldn't find me, they started harassing my uncle's family. They not only trashed uncle's small restaurant, but also demanded money. Although Xu Shen later paid it all back. My aunt said it wasn't enough. Xin aunt won't make it hard for you. Just sell us that house your mom left at a low price, and we'll call it even. We're all family after all. You understand me and I understand you. Right? I was red-eyed and speechless. Xu Shen stepped in front of me and calculated every damaged item with my aunt. When aunt couldn't argue with Xu Shen, she left angrily. But she kept coming back whenever she had a chance. I didn't want to trouble Xu Shen, so I never told him. Curled up under the covers, completely lost about what to do. I want to pull down the sky and crush everyone. But I'd spare Xu Shen first. Okay, I'd spare Zhou Yishan too. After explaining the situation to my advisor, I didn't go to the lab for several days and attended classes properly. After evening class, I walked out with the crowd. Suddenly everyone started talking excitedly. Girls covered their mouths and looked toward the distance with delight. I looked at Tua. Under the streetlight stood a tall, cool figure. When our eyes met, he completely changed. The orange light on his hair created a warm golden glow. He waved at me with a bright smile, like a golden retriever. Zhou Yishen quietly followed behind me until we reached a dark alley. He grabbed my hand and pulled me into his arms, gently pinching my face. Still so thin. Come on, baby. Let me take you for some late night snacks to build you up. Chen. Looking at him seriously, I finally gathered courage to speak. Senior, let's end this here. His gaze froze, looking confused. Actually, I have someone I like. I only hooked up with you because he was with someone else then. I'm grateful to you, but I can only be your junior. Zhou Yishen's usually gentle expression grew darker and darker until it became somewhat frightening. Not like a puppy at all, more like a wolf. My arm hurt from his grip. I had to call his name. Zhou Yishen finally let go, squinting at me. Cold and obsessive. So it has to be him. I slowly nodded. He said nothing more, walked me back to the dorm, and left. Actually, I felt bad too, like I'd fed my heart bitter melon. Must be because I owe him favors. I ate his breakfast and slept with him. Sigh. People shouldn't be so greedy. On weekend I got up early and took the bus home. On the way, I found all the transfer records Xushen sent to my aunt and printed them all out, dozens of pages. I felt bad that I'd caused trouble for their life estate. But these accounts needed to be settled. Just as I stepped one foot in, a ball hit me right on the head. Blood immediately ran down my face. Before I could figure out what happened, I heard aunt shrieking, "The main culprit's back! The main culprit's back! Every debt has its debtor! You bastards better stop wrecking my house!" The thugs in the shop looked at each other, then charged at me aggressively, grabbing my collar, raising their fists to hit my face. I closed my eyes, but the expected pain never came. When I opened them, the thug's hand was gripped tightly by a man in black. The other thugs were also being controlled. Anne stood there stunned. After snapping back to reality, she shot me a venomous look, collapsed on the ground and started wailing. The police arrived quickly. Only then did I notice Zhou Yishen behind me. He was talking casually with the police, then told the men in black to clean up Uncle's house. When Anne got a chance, she called up to Kersey. Zhou Yishen calmly stepped between us. "Let's go to the hospital first." Aunt glared at him. "Who are you?" Zhou Yishen flexed his biceps. "Someone who can fight." 安德然有位克星优丢线。Zhou Yishen took me to the hospital and personally registered Uncle and Aunt for checkup. Watching him bustling around, my eyes suddenly got hot. The head injury wasn't serious. The doctor simply disinfected and applied some medicine. Back in the hospital room, Zhou Yishen was talking with Uncle and Aunt. When they saw me come in, they tactfully stopped talking. "We'll contact you later." Outside the hospital, I followed Zhou Yishen. He suddenly stopped and asked me, "Where are you following me?" My brain went blank, buzzing. Zhou Yishen was expressionless, not like before when his eyes were full of me. "I'm going home. You following me too?" Meeting my dad as my boyfriend. He asked me with interest. I stared at him blankly and shook my head awkwardly. No, I thought he'd take me to the dinner. I'm so hungry. Since there's nothing else, see you later. I paid your medical bills. I'll deduct it from your salary. Bye. Zhou Yishen briskly walked back the way we came. I watched his back, feeling lost. Soon the wind picked up, blowing away the bills and payment records I'd printed this morning. All 20 plus pages were floating in the air. I didn't chase after them, just crouched on the ground, uselessly. So tired. Want to cry. Surprisingly, Aunt didn't take the money I transferred and even comforted me. It was really strange. The next day, I bought some fruit and milk to visit them. When Aunt wanted me to stay for dinner, I made an excuse and quickly left. Back at school, because my salary was docked for medical bills, I had to return to work for my advisor. It was our turn to report Project Progress again. This time Zhou Yishen didn't go easy on me. He gave us a brutal scolding. I sat there obediently, not daring to speak. No special treatment. This was the devil everyone talked about. Outside the office, my senior sighed dramatically. People's hearts aren't what they used to be. The world's going to hell. Beauty fades so fast. I slumped over my workstation and mumbled agreement. The more I thought about it, the sadder I got. I was about to cry. Seeing something was wrong, my senior came over to comfort me. "Xin, don't be too sad. Zhou's been like he's PM. Sing this whole week, taking his bad mood out on everyone he meets. Let's go try that new crab hot pot place by the North Gate." I looked at her hopefully. "I'm broke." My senior was speechless and helplessly walked away. I went and ate 2 buns. When I got back to my workstation, there was a fragrant crab hot pot on my desk. Thinking my senior had gotten it for me, I dug in gratefully. My senior is such a good person. She must be too shy to invite us in person. That's why she came up with this plan. Seeing the message Xu Shen sent me, I surprisingly didn't feel the excitement I used to. He asked me to go to a class reunion with him. Since high school wasn't pleasant, I instinctively felt resistant. But thinking I could see Xu Shen again, I finally agreed. I specially wore my best outfit and was about to leave after work. When his cold gaze swept over me for a while before he spoke. You stay behind to handle the data. Me. I requested time off. This doesn't even count as requesting time off. I was leaving right on time after work hours. We have new tests and need people. You can't leave today, he said coldly. I used to think he was like a big dog. He's clearly a vampire. I didn't argue with him, just stared at him with wide eyes. Tears started welling up. Zhou Yixin was obviously panicking, but before he could speak, the advisor interrupted our standoff. Oh, I'll get some students to help you. 校长一根高害的. I bowed to thank the advisor. As soon as I got on the bus, my eyes started stinging. I hate Zhou Yixin. We clearly agreed we could still be friends even without being hook up buddies. It's not like that at all. I hate Zhou Yixin. I hate Zhou Yixin. I spotted Xu Shen from far away. There was no girl beside him. I sighed in relief and slowly walked over. Just as I was about to smile at him, Xu Shen came closer, staring into my eyes. He touched my hair gently and asked, You were crying. I awkwardly dodged his hand without answering. Jiang Xin, did someone bully you? I looked down silently and saw our high school class monitor. Like finding a lifeline, I called out to him. The monitor was a decent guy who cared about me in high school. He wore glasses and led Xu Shen and me toward the private room. Xu Shen stopped asking questions, but his gaze held a strange tenderness. In the private room were some classmates I wasn't close with, but who never made fun of me. Xu Shen must have considered this for me. He was always thoughtful. Everyone chatted about college life. Suddenly someone asked about the gossip between Xu Shen and his girlfriend. He swirled his drink and smiled. We broke up. Everyone looked confused. After getting together, I realized I didn't like her that much. Don't know why. I felt like he was looking at me intentionally. The monitor saw the awkward atmosphere and immediately used his special talent. You definitely weren't serious about it. That girl chased you for so long. If you had shown half the care you showed Zhang Xin back then, anyone would have fallen for you. Right, Zhang Xin? The monitor nudged me with his elbow, and I belatedly agreed. Seeing me in a daze, Xu Shen seemed to remember high school days. Suddenly he hugged me tight and ruffled my hair. His nice detergent smell mixed with alcohol filled my nose. It was also in his arms that I walked out of my mom's room after she died, walked out from all the mocking laughter. Later he let me go, and I walked into an unprotected life, into other people's world. Everyone drank beer freely. I followed along and gulped it down. In the end, Xu Shen carried me out of the private room. I lay dazedly against his ear, whispering very softly, But that's all it is. The body beneath me stiffened. His hand gripping my thigh almost dug into my flesh. Through the haze, I seemed to return to a few years ago. That day, I was going to find Xu Shen, but accidentally overheard him arguing with his mom. Why do you have to care about him? Doesn't he have any relatives, since he has no parents? Xu Shen, if I find out you're like your cheating father, I'd rather beat you to death and kill myself too. Xu Shen's mom was nearly broken, like a withered lotus in the rain, but Xu Shen stood there like an observer, numb. Mom, you're overthinking. Zhang Xin has been our neighbor for so many years. How can you bear to ignore him? His mom cursed. You better be telling the truth. I heard my name. I knew this was about me, so I ran away immediately. I didn't understand then. I still don't fully get it now. I just felt Xu Shen was sad. I got down and helped him wipe away his tears. The monitor and I were going the same way, so I left with him. Goodbye, Xu Shen. I swayed as I said goodbye to him, saying goodbye to that unreachable past. I woke up the next day with a terrible headache. Luckily, I wasn't late. I was typing randomly on the computer when my senior came over mysteriously. I got huge gossip for you. One jokingly offered to set up Joe with a girlfriend. Oh my god. Thinking that such a perfect man belongs to another guy. My senior's face lit up with weird excitement. She looked at me and suddenly sighed. I was shipping you too, but too bad Joe already has someone he likes. I froze and casually asked, Who? The guy from clinical. Same year as you. My senior pointed to a cute curly-haired guy. They were ordering flowers together at a shop recently. I ran into them. No wonder they were acting all sneaky. Now, I get it. My senior looked wise, not noticing my broken heart. That evening the advisor organized a team-building event. Since I drank yesterday, I didn't sign up. I grabbed my bag to leave, but my senior stopped me. Curly and Jorbo's going. Let's follow and get the inside scoop. Without giving me a chance to refuse, I was already at the dinner table. Like last time, the advisor had me sit next to Zhou Yixin. I carefully moved over. Before I could pull out the chair, someone stopped me. This seat's taken. Sit across from us. I followed that muscular arm and met Zhou Yixin's cold eyes. Okay. The seat was obviously saved for Curly. I angrily chewed a tough steak. Wow. Actually listening carefully to every move from the two across from me. Senior, help me with the lobster. Senior, there's a musical next week. Let's go together. Senior, did the flowers you ordered arrive? Curly's voice was clear, and he was extremely handsome. Obviously from a wealthy family. Nothing like me. I sadly gulped beer, as the conversations around me got blurry. After a while, I seemed to hear my senior calling me, but had no energy to respond. I'll drive him home. Yeah, bye. It was Zhou Yixin's voice. I opened my eyes and saw multiple Zhou Yixins. I poked them one by one with my finger, until only one chubby one remained. We're at your dorm. Call a roommate to take you up. I looked at him and said sadly, can't call them. They don't like me. I'm annoying, you know. Never had many friends. Zhou Yixin was quiet for a moment, then brushed my hair away, touching my forehead. It felt good. So where do you want to go? I nuzzled into his palm, just like I used to do, and licked his finger with my tongue. Can I go to your place? The man's breathing got heavier as he hit the gas into the night. Zhou Yixin took me to shower. Hot water flowed down from my head, mixing with my tears. I held him and said over and over, I like you, Zhou Yixin. Please don't be with someone else. Please? Zhou Yixin lifted my chin, his voice cold. Wasn't it only him you wanted? Not anymore, not anymore. I only like you now. I used all my strength to lean against him. The man put his fingers in my mouth, playing with my teeth, then another finger, pinching my tongue, moving in and out. I couldn't breathe. I was dying. So, you like it rough, not gentle? I nodded hard, searching for air through the gaps between his fingers in the muddy sound of water. He finally let me go, lying in bed. I trembled as I tried to hug him, but he pushed me away and tied my hands with his tie to the headboard, gripping my chin like a fierce wolf. Zhang Xin, you better remember every word you said tonight, or I'll punish you. Got it? He spread my legs. What do you call me? I endured the pain and pitifully tried to kiss him. Xinye. He dodged me. Ooh, husband. Zhou Yixin took my earlobe in his mouth, becoming like an ocean storm, crashing, surging, pouring. I curled up, only remembering him whispering over and over, I like you. Me liking you is enough. Don't need anyone else. Tang Xin, I love you. My whole body hurt. Different from every other time I slept with Zhou Yixin. Before I opened my eyes, I heard Zhou Yixin on the phone with our advisor. I get it, but why are you the one calling me about Xiao Zhang's leave request? Zhou Yixin was quiet for 2 seconds, then said matter-of-factly, yeah, it's exactly what you think. If not for his ears gradually turning cute pink, I'd think he was completely calm inside. Zhou Yixin was shirtless, his collarbone and waist covered in bite marks. Those were from me. I shyly buried my head under the covers, but someone grabbed my neck. The man pressed down on me, touching that soft spot. His voice hoarse as he asked, do you remember what you said last night? I hid under the blanket, like an ostrich with its head in sand and butt showing. Then say it again. Zhou Yixin's tone was much gentler than last night, like he turned back into a big dog. I had to call a big dog husband. He patted my butt and rubbed it excitedly. I heard you, wife. I spent 2 days being lovey-dovey with Zhou Yixin at his place. Not working made me feel anxious. Where are we going to the office? Zhou Yixin had his arm around my waist, head on my thigh. No rush. The old advisor hasn't pushed me. I got out of bed. Just wear mine. What kind of talk is that? Wearing Zhou Yixin's clothes to a group meeting would drive my senior's gossip radar crazy. Just imagining it for a second made me want to explode. I picked up my dirty clothes naked and put them in the washer, stood in front of the machine waiting a bit. Got a little cold, so I had no choice but to crawl back into Zhou Yixin's arms, complaining softly, yeah. The advisor not pushing is one, but he's not gonna pay me. Zhou Yixin pinched my nose with a mischievous smile. I'll pay you. I'm not joking. I still have debts to pay. I asked my uncle, and those people haven't bothered them since, but who knows when they might show up again. I really don't want to keep causing them trouble. That's no problem. Honey, I already paid it off for you. I stared at him wide-eyed. Zhou Yixin propped his head up proudly, waiting for praise. Why so surprised? Student Xiao Zhang, it's just a debt transfer. You need to understand I have 3 roles now. Your husband, senior, and creditor. Over 500,000 you owe me. He pretended to think. A lifetime of labor. I couldn't look at him anymore. Just buried my head against his stomach, against those hard muscles. My voice choked. I'll sign and seal the deal. Zhang Xin will stay with Zhou Yixin forever, not had a day less. We were being all sweet and romantic. When the phone call rang. Moments later, the apartment filled with mine and Zhou Yijin's screams, scaring away the sparrows outside the window. Honey, your advisor. And my mama coming to check on us. They're bringing laptops to make up the work we missed these 2 days. He said since Xiaojiang is family now. No need to be polite, but my clothes aren't dry yet. Just wear mine. No way. Then go naked.